Hi, it's Kye Sutton here from MCM Buzz, and I'm here at the Saints Row booth for MCM Expo with producer Donovan and lead designer Phillips for the game. So first things first, how's the reception been at the Expo so far?
I think it's been received very well. We would have been surprised if we were anything but. You know, the team worked really hard to get it to where it is right now, but everyone seems very enthused with the game. But let's be honest, like, what's not to like? It's just this sandbox of fun, right?
Yeah, of course. And of course, you've gone with a more sort of madness route with the game, with crazy dildo bouncing things. Why made you go with that over, say, realism like Grand Theft Auto, for example?
Well, I think we're better at the craziness, and Saints Row 2 was a game like, you know, solidified its identity as the over-the-top game. You know, we had the Septic Avenger and Fuzz, activities like that you don't find in other sandbox games. And after that release, we saw that our players really, you know, resonated well with us. They wanted that over-the-top kind of gameplay, and so working with Scott's group and our group and everyone else, starting from the ground up, and the #1 vision, the starting vision from this game is over the top in the beginning. We love it, we know our players love it.
Yeah, of course. And what inspired a lot of those decisions when creating the game? What inspired things like the dildo battle and Professor Genki's craziness?
Well, I think a lot of what we do is coming up with crazy ideas. We just get together, all the designers in a room, and just brainstorm. We come up with, we have a general outline of the things we want to do, and then we just throw stuff up on the wall and see what fits. So I mean, a lot of the craziness we had to, you know, kind of define our boundaries. That took a long time. We used videos to make this tone piece, which was kind of a splice up of different movies that included Bad Boy and Shoot 'Em Up and Hot Fuzz. So to give the feeling of what the game was. I mean, Professor Genki came out of, we had an activity, what ended up being Professor Genki's activity, which was kind of just Smash TV. And so we wanted something that was unique. We wanted to bring something different to Saints Row. And so we started going with this crazy Japanese style, and we just started adding word after word after word to the title, and it got longer and longer, and Professor Genki came up, and you know, the art department just did a fantastic job of branding him, and he's turned out to be fantastic for us.
Yeah, we've seen him around as well, of course. But is there anything that you may have come up with that didn't quite make it into the game so far? You can tell us.
Yeah, but I would say for the most part, everything that we couldn't do was because of technical reasons. Like, it was just too much for us to accomplish. You know, we only have a certain amount of time and a certain amount of money and people to make the game, so we have to make tough choices on, you know, we really love this, but if we want to do this well, we can't do that too. And then we learned a lot from Saints Row 2 because we tried too much, tried to do too much, we felt, in Saints Row 2. And so we didn't do as much of it to a high quality bar as we wanted to. So with the third, we refocused and made sure that what we did was as best as we could possibly make it.
So is there a chance to see any new things added to the game in future through DLC? Maybe something that didn't make it before that you might have time for later on?
Yeah, absolutely. We have a small DLC team working on content right now. Saints Row 2 packages we released were very successful. We want to make sure that they were successful despite coming out like 6 months after the game's launch. And this time around, we want to make sure we have content available from launch and you know, populate that content in the in-game store for many months after launch.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Of course, what is your favourite vehicle, say, for example, in the game? Your favourite weapon in the game?
My favorite weapon is the airstrike. I just love feeling powerful and raining this, you know, fire of death on top of, you know, tons of enemies and wiping them all out all at once. So my favorite vehicle is absolutely the VTOL. Switching between a helicopter and a jet with the press of a button is really slick.
Yeah, for me, I think I like the fully upgraded weapons, like fully upgraded dual-wielding SMGs that can light people on fire. Yeah. I mean, that just has a lot of fun and a lot of creativity in how you can engage in combat. Vehicle-wise, it's along the same lines as Greg, but the jet bike is my favorite because you get this really Star Wars feel of flying through the alleys and the streets of the city, and you know, you crash a lot, but it's a lot of fun to, you know, test your skills and zooming around the city at top speed.
So would there be an activity for that, for example, jet biking around Steelport?
Well, you get constantly rewarded, but we don't have a specific activity for that. Maybe in the future.
Okay. So, and with regards to the story in the game, how long can we expect to be playing that for?
How long to play through Critical Path?
Through the story, the main storyline of the game.
I would say if you go and just follow the narrative and the missions, you're gonna 15 to 20 hours minimum. it takes our QA department, who know the game better than anyone else, 45 hours to get 100%. So it's a very long game. The important thing is that what's great about sandbox open world games is like a large part of the fun, a large part of the time you spend is just messing with the citizens and the pedestrians of the world. And you know, in that case, it's like it takes all the hours as long as you want to play. It's different every time you go in.
As well as the single player story, of course, there's multiplayer options as well. Can we expect to see things like free roaming from the Grand Theft Auto games?
Our competitive multiplayer modes consist of co-op. It's the same model of SR2, which is your seamless drop-in, drop-out, playable through the entire campaign on Xbox Live or PSN, or if you're playing on PC, obviously. But we don't have any competitive multiplayer this time around. We wanted to focus on what we do well and what we know our players want, and that's it's a solid single-player experience that can be mimicked the same way in co-op.
Okay. Another co-op mode we've seen by now as well is the game's Horde mode. Can you tell us what that's about, what you expect to do in that?
Yeah, so in Saints Row 2 we had a mode called Zombie Uprising, which was just kind of our, we really like zombies as much as everybody else does, and so we wanted to create a wave-based combat mode. So building on what Saints Row 2 had, we kind of wanted to incorporate not just zombies, but like a whole multitude of the craziness that we have in the campaign. So things that we couldn't necessarily do in the campaign, like making a 20-foot tall stripper or a 1-foot tall miniature can that you're fighting, and giving you access to all of the weapons in the campaign, and just varying up the waves. So it's not just one grunt, then 2 grunts, then 3 grunts. You're fighting completely different waves. You're in vehicles sometimes. Sometimes you're miniature. You're giant. So there's just a huge amount of variety to it. And it's just something to drop into if you want to, take a break from the campaign. You can play co-op Horde mode with your friends, and you're going to see something different every wave.
Would we unlock anything as well? So is there an end to it, firstly?
There are 3 maps that have 30 waves each, and each of those 30 waves are different. So each of the 3 maps is different, is unique.
And for completing Horde mode, would we unlock anything for use in the main game, perhaps? Maybe outfits or weapons or something?
No, it's just a separate mode that's just meant to have fun in.
Okay, sure. Well, thanks very much.